Warning.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Top 5. I am your host, Lee. As always, I have with me the best co-hosts anyone could ask for, Jason. And of course, I know Alice. I mean, Alice is there too, but Jason, I give you the name above the marquee, my friend.
Okay, I thought you were talking about her at first. I was like, oh, she doesn't even say anything. You're giving her credit over me.
I know, no. Of course, we will mention Alice. I've been remiss not to have at least included her these past few episodes, but that correction will be made. I won't say what Alice and I talked about, but let's just say I'll never make that mistake again.
Yeah, just so she doesn't kill us.
Exactly. So true. Well, man, we're laughing a lot, like we do in every episode. You know what I mean? We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So tonight's episode that we're laughing because some of these things make us laugh that we're going to talk about. We're talking about top 5 comedy horror or horrors with a comedy twist, I guess would be a better way to say it. Jason, what do you think about this, man?
There's a lot of them. There really is a lot of even the more serious horror movies. There's a little bit of comedy in some of them. There could be something gruesome going on. Somebody's getting killed and or even like disemboweled, and the guy killing them will say something funny and you'll kind of laugh at it. And it's not funny, but at the same time it is. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be funny. But there's so many of them that I don't really know where that got started. I guess in the 80s movies where it was a scary movie and you went to see it and it was really scary. And then there was like a funny one-liner in it that the killer said or somebody said. And then all of a sudden it just started like spinning out of control where it was just all over the place.
Well, I think the answer for me is obvious as to where that started. We're talking about Mr. Freddy Krueger.
It had to be.
I think that he probably was the one who started. I mean, because as his movies went on, they were a little quick and witty at the very beginning, but as they went on, even he became a little watered down. Which the movies itself recognized and actually discussed in a way within the movies. As they got old, as they went on. With the New Nightmare and then Freddy's Dead, Final Nightmare, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
they kind of acknowledged that fact that he had got it that way. But I think that's what it was. I think a lot of that was the wittiness and stuff like that in the very beginning, the quick one-liners.
Well, for us, we will give Freddy Krueger the top of the line for that. We'll say he started it all. Thank you, Freddy.
Indeed. But see, and again, everybody's list is different, guys. So of course, as you listen to ours, feel free. You guys have been great, giving some comments, talking about movies that we've missed. Please continue to do so. Please continue to like us, and comment and follow us all on Facebook and all of that. Please, we're really excited that you guys are liking the shows as much as you are. But for us, I guess, or for at least for me, the way I put this list together, Jason, and I'm curious as to how you kind of put yours together as well, is for me, they had to be a horror movie first and foremost. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, but at the same time, they had there was definitely comedy in it, but more than just one-liners. You know what I mean? Because I think that way, if you took that into account, then maybe you could say Nightmare on Elm Street's for comedy horrors. You know what I mean? Which I don't think they really fall into that line. So for me, comedy horror or horror comedy or horror with a twist, comedy twist, has to have real stakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has to have some real stakes. Like for me, again, this is Lee's list, Jason. Yours could be totally different. For me, I wouldn't include scary movie in that, even though that's a comedy. The stakes never felt real. Like you weren't invested, like if the character died, was killed or something like that. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Clear. Yeah.
I think it should still be scary, or at least be considered a horror movie. But it should have, it can be funny too. And I don't have any of the scary movies on there because I think they're in their own category, really.
Right.
My number one might be a little bit off of this, but I chose it because it's whatever. We'll see when we get there. But anyway.
All right, great. No, so like we've said, we're going to jump into this list. And again, these are horrors with a comedy twist. And it could be anything from situational, from some situational comedy that the characters find themselves in, or just the banter, more than just one line. Some of the banter that comes. And as I look at my list, a lot of that is really there could be some really, the stakes are real, but the
Yeah.
banter is there. The witty banter is there. You know what I mean? That kind of
Yep.
takes the edge off a little bit, but yet the stakes are real for the character.
Right. I agree.
Cool, man. Well, all that being said, my friend, and Alice, with your permission, we will jump into it.
Let's
Do
do
you
it.
have any other mentions, or you just want to jump into the top five, man?
Uh, uh, I'm going to name one honorable mention, and I won't go into it very far, but um, uh, it almost made my list. Arachnophobia. It
Ah,
almost made, really, just because of John Goodman when he
yeah.
was the exterminator guy, and that was a really good movie, man. I really enjoyed that movie, but I won't go into it too much. But John Goodman's character in it, just the way he would, the one spot where he kept spraying the spider and it wouldn't die, and he just walks up and mashes it, you
Yeah.
know. And he said something there too, and I can't remember it, but it was pretty good.
No, you know what? That's a great movie. A great horror comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of embarrassed. Well, actually, I won't say it. Because I might spoil my list. But no, it's just a great movie. John Goodman as well as old boy from Dumb and Dumber. Um, oh my
Which I knew
gosh,
his name until you said that.
Jim Carrey, and oh my gosh, Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, Jeff
Jeff
Daniels. I was getting
Daniels.
ready to say Daniel something, but
Yeah, Jeff
yeah,
Daniels. No, very cool choice, man. I love it. For me, it was a single one I will mention in there. I'll do one
yeah.
also. For me, it's Tremors.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, 1990, old Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, and Michael Gross from, the father from Family Ties. The stakes were real in this. I actually saw this movie in the theater. Uh, back in the day. I really loved it because it was just it definitely was some situational comedy in there and
yeah.
some great lines. And of course, you can't go wrong with Kevin Bacon, man.
No,
He
no.
really did a great job.
And Reba McEntire was in there
Oh
too.
yes, indeed,
Yeah,
Reba McEntire, man. Great, good recall on that. No, that's my honorable mention. I just thought it was a great movie. I just
great
always like
movie.
to, yeah, I would like to imagine me and my friends out somewhere and something like that happening. What do you do? You know what I mean? Just what do you
Yeah,
do? Yeah, some
and
enjoyable stuff.
supposedly they are going to do another one, a new one. So,
Yeah,
and hopefully they skip all the other stuff that happened in between it. But
so
because there's been a what 4 or 5 of those things. But
I think maybe
I think
seven.
I think I watched the second one, but I don't think I got into much more after that. But yeah, I can't wait till the new one because it's going to have Kevin Bacon and a bunch of the original people. So it should be
Yep,
good.
indeed, man. Well, cool,
Good
bud.
honorable mention.
Thank you, thank you. All right, my friend, why don't you kick us off with the five, number five?
I'd be glad to. Be glad to. So my number 5 is a 2004 movie. Stars Simon Pegg as Sean, Nick Frost as Ed, Shaun of the Dead. And
Bravo.
that movie came out right after Dawn of the Dead, the remake. And they actually give it a little bit of credit at the end of Shaun of the Dead. They actually play the elevator music that was playing in Dawn of the Dead. And
Yep.
I thought that was cool. But this movie, it's almost real in a way because this guy, he's down on his luck. He lost his girlfriend. He's around 30, I guess, but he goes to work and he's just got I guess a mundane life, man. It's just like he's just existing. He's just living. He's not living. He's living. And when he gets up the morning, like when it starts, he just walks over to the convenience store to get a drink, and an ice cream, I think it was. But he's walking past zombies to get there, and like they're the slow walk ones. They're not like the ones from Dawn of the Dead. They're more like the Walking Dead type. So he's just walking past them to get to the store, and he's like, "Hey, he wants to pay," and the guy's not there, and he doesn't even look because there's blood on the glass of the door he opens to get the drink out of. And there's just people laying all over the place, and he's just not paying attention, man. He's reading the wrapper on the ice cream and just walks home, and no, he doesn't get killed or bitten or anything, and that's just comedy ensues, man. And like you mentioned, there's a great horror story going on here,
Yep.
you know, but the comedy in it, I love that when they start planning stuff and he's seeing it all in his head how it's going to work. And is it I don't want to mispronounce his name. Bill Nye. Is it just Bill Nye or
It's
Nye?
Bill Nye. It's Bill
Yeah.
Nye. Yeah, he's one of the famous actors from the UK, man. And
Yeah.
he's
He's
plays
like
his
the
stepdad.
stepdad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if people don't know who he is, he's Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
He's Victor from Underworld, Billy Mack from Love Actually. I had to mention that because my wife loves that movie.
It's a
And
great movie.
yeah, yeah. It is a great movie. You're right. You're right. No, it is great because
Hey
that's
guys,
where
I
we
watch
get
everything.
Andrew Lincoln came from that. Well, that's I won't say he came from that, but that's where I knew him from before The Walking Dead. When The
Right.
Walking Dead was coming out, I said, "This is great, a zombie TV movie or a TV show." And I said, "It's got the dude from Love Actually in it. What is this, man?" But man,
12
there's
years
no
later or
other
whatever.
Rick Grimes, Sheriff Rick Grimes.
Indeed.
But anyway, back to Shaun of the Dead. I loved it, man. I'm not going to go into it too much, but it's a great movie. I'm sure most people watching this have seen that. And if not, I definitely recommend it.
I love that movie as well, Jason. And it is just Simon Pegg. That's probably my first introduction to Simon Pegg. This movie
Same
was.
here.
And then of course he's since now crossed over to the U.S. and has been in so many high-profile films, Mission Impossible, Star Trek movies, where he played
Mm-hmm.
Scotty. But no, and then his other Nick Wright, or Nick, I'm sorry, Nick Frost was the
Yeah.
his buddy that was in the movie as well. And this is directed by Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright, as he's I think you mentioned that as well. I just love this what they're known as the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy. You mentioned the ice cream. I believe that's the ice cream that he was eating when he was meant Simon Pegg when he was walking back.
Yeah.
With that, I think it was Cornetto. The reason I bring this up, that's what all three of these guys I just mentioned: Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, and Nick Frost. They did Shaun of the Dead, followed by Hot Fuzz. Which
Yeah.
what they did to this was like they did a buddy cop movie. They did that was their spin on the buddy cop. This is their spin on the zombie horror film. This is their spin, Hot Fuzz with the buddy cop film, and then to end, they had a movie called The World's End, which was their alien invasion movie. So even though they were all affiliated, they were playing different characters, and I just love that comedy. I love the humor in it. Great choice, man.
Thanks,
Fantastic
man.
choice for your number five. My number five is a movie called Final Girls. Came out in 2015. Directed by Todd Strauss Schulson, starred Tessa Farmiga, Malin Ackerman, and Adam Devine. He is from the show Workaholics. He also did a stint on Modern Family. But have you ever seen it, Jason? It
I
is,
don't believe I have.
oh my gosh, it is awesome. I actually just saw this probably the past year. As I said, stars Tessa Familia. She's from her sister is oh god, she was in the Psycho movies where she played the Psycho TV show. I'm sorry, Norman Bates
Yeah.
Motel.
Yeah.
Sister's Vera Familia.
Yeah.
That's who her sister is. But Tessa's been in multiple seasons of American Horror Story. But in this film, her mother was a scream queen in the 80s, and her mother dies in a tragic accident. And so Tessa goes to see a movie. There's this midnight showing of one of the movies that her mom was in. Like her mom was like 80s scream queen. While they're there, a fire breaks out in the theater, and somehow they're transported into the movie,
Ah.
into this horror movie, which has all of the send-ups of all of those 80s classic camp horror films that we watched growing up, you know. And then they just have to kind of find out what's going on. I don't want to ruin it because if you guys haven't seen this, is a little known film. It's actually showing on Showtime right now. I wanted to tell you guys that it's actually showing on Showtime. If you wanted to go check it out, please do. They're just trapped inside the cult classic movie. They kind of have to team up with the mother. The mother's in there playing the character, so she doesn't know that this girl's her daughter. So
Oh.
you know what I mean. And it's just,
Yeah.
but there's real kills. The slasher killer in the movie is still going around killing everybody. And so these guys that have seen the movie, there's this one guy played by the guy. Oh gosh, I can't think of anybody's name right now. But he's also a comedy. He was a lead character from Silicon Valley. He's in the movie, and he's the guy who's seen the movie millions of times, and so he knows he's trying to figure out what to do with this and that, and everything's just going wrong. The slasher's just always able to get them. It's just such a good flick, guys. And it, like I said, the stakes are real. Please check it out.
That
Final
sounds pretty
girls.
good though, man. You know, I can
It
only
is.
imagine getting thrown into a movie like that. And you know, whether it was like a Friday the 13th or a Halloween or something, it's like, you know, don't get in the closet. He knows you're in the closet. Let's don't get in the closet, or you know, don't go there because in the movie we know that's where he is, and you almost
Yes.
have an advantage. But it sounds good, man. It sounds
It
good.
is.
Hey,
It is really good.
when you first started talking about it, it reminded me of The Last Action Hero, the Arnold
Oh yeah.
Schwarzenegger. You remember with the movie ticket and he gets swept in, and yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
definitely
kind of
check it out,
similar.
man. I'll
Please
check
do,
it
dude.
out.
It's awesome. Malin Ackerman, I think I mentioned her too. She's just awesome in it. It's got a really good cast. A lot of great comedy people, and like I said, the horror is real too. The suspense is
Cool.
so. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I'll check it out.
All right, my friend. Moving on to number 4.
All right, my number 4, 2009, Zombieland. And
Awesome.
Jesse Eisenberg plays Columbus. Woody Harrelson plays Tallahassee. Emma Stone is Wichita. Is it Breland?
Breslin.
Breslin, that's right. Plays Little Rock, and Bill Murray plays Bill Murray.
God damn it, Bill fucking Murray!
And you know what's cool about this is like their names in the show, in the movie. You know, each one is just like where they're from. That's what you're known from. And there was a second part too. It was okay, but this one, the zombie apocalypse breaks out. So Columbus, which is Jesse Eisenberg, he joins with Woody Harrelson, who is awesome in this movie, and he just wants a Twinkie. You know, Woody Harrelson's Tallahassee character, he's just after Twinkies, and it was so funny. The hostess truck is on the side of the road.
What are we doing here?
Take a look. It's a goddamn hostess truck.
Yeah, I see that. A hostess truck. So what?
You coming?
Yes. Yeah. 1 second.
You fucking with me?
No, limber up as well. Especially if we're going down that hill.
I don't believe in it. You ever see a lion limber up before it takes down a gazelle? Snowballs.
Yeah.
Snowballs? Where's the fucking Twinkies?
I like snowballs.
I hate coconut. Not the taste, the consistency.
Fresh.
Oh, this Twinkie thing, it ain't over yet.
There's so much comedy in it, and it really is, you know, it's got the gore that I like, and it's, you know, the real situation going on where they're trying to just survive, and they meet the two girls, and the girls are trying to get out to this amusement park, you know, and it's great, man. And the Bill Murray scene is just awesome, man. Awesome.
I agree. It really is.
Yeah.
It's a great film, man. I love all the zombie kill. Was zombie kill of the week?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And those,
zombie kill
yeah,
of the
all the
day.
rules that he had made up, and
No,
yeah.
it was great. And like you said, the sequel, I mean, it was a great hit. They talked about making a sequel for years, and they finally got around to it. I think there was actually a TV show out too. Briefly. Now
I
that you
know they
mention
were going to. I don't know if they did.
maybe it
but
didn't make it. I don't know. I thought maybe maybe didn't last very long. There was one.
I'll have to check into it. I would watch it though, just to watch it.
Yeah. No, great choice. I do love that movie also. The Bill Murray scene is just hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm laughing now thinking about it.
He told him he looked like Eddie Van Halen, which he did. When he said that, it was like, oh my God, he does look like Eddie Van Halen.
Yep.
But
another funny scene too is like, you got any regrets? Garfield.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, his last breath. Any regrets?
Oh, and then when he's like, you think he's dying, the whole breathing, like,
Oh yeah.
that deep breath just keeps going.
Yep.
Great movie.
Good choice, buddy. Good choice. For me, my number 4 is a movie that came out in 2011, Cabin in the Woods, directed by Drew Goddard, who I was very familiar with this guy's directing anyway, because he worked on a show called Angel and Buffy, and I was huge fans of that. Huge fan of that. And this was also written by Joss Whedon, who of course was the creator of those shows as well. I mean, I was a huge fan. I guess I can still say I'm a huge fan of Joss Whedon's work, not a huge fan of the person per se anymore, with all the recent headlines and everything like that. But I always just have been. So when I heard about this movie that he was writing a horror movie, and all, and I knew it would have his humor in it. And like I said, I think Joss is just one of the best writers around, honestly.
Yeah.
So I just loved it. I couldn't wait to see it. And when I saw it, it let me down, man. This stars Chris Hemsworth, Thor. This is before he was Thor, actually.
Yeah.
He filmed it before it was Thor, but it came out after Thor had been out. Anyway, but Bradley Whitford, Richard Jenkins. Richard Jenkins is the father from Step Brothers, guys, and then and then Bradley Whitford, of course, he did a great job. Played a memorable role recently. He was in The West Wing, but he also did a great job in Get Out. He was the father in Get Out, and just a great movie, man. What it is, it's kind of like a play on. Have you seen this one?
I have. I love it, man.
All right, great. Yeah, so as you know, it's these group of kids. They go out for a typical fun weekend to a cabin in the woods. Once they get there, you realize they're actually being monitored by this team of, you're not quite sure what they are, scientists or something, but they're monitoring this group of kids that's in the woods there. They go down, of course, just like in any typical horror movie, these kids, they go down and they find these old heirlooms. And there's just so much great, like, cool things about this and how they're writing into this, like, that's typically how a movie goes, right? Is where these horror movies go, they go down to the basement in the woods, they find, well, like, that's how Evil Dead was.
Yeah.
They find the book, read the book, but what they're doing is all these kids are looking at all these different, like, artifacts and things, and each artifact is almost going to be like a choose your own adventure. Those old books that we used to read. No, because any artifact that they chose was going to come with that stereotypical horror trope. You know what I mean? and so it was funny because they were watching, like, the scientists are watching each one of them, like, if they go this one, and they are starting to make bets as to what they're going to do. I mean, it's so, again, I don't want to spoil this, because if you guys haven't seen it, it's just so many great layers to this film. It just really is. And then the comedy, like I said before, Joss Whedon is just fantastic when it comes to this. I just love this movie. I think it's a great movie.
No, it's great. It's kind of like, like with all of my horror action figures, and it would be like somebody that didn't watch horror movies, and they came in, and the first one that they actually picked up to read who it was, that's who they had to go against.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same way. And I like the way that they did that, because there was so many different, heirlooms and little trinkets down there that, it could be a music box you picks up.
Yep.
And anything at all, a hammer, it doesn't matter, whatever it was, a book, it didn't matter. And whatever comes after them, it's coming after them, man. That part was not funny, like when what comes after them is not funny, but it does have some great, great funny parts to it, though. That's a great choice too, man. I like that one. That's a good movie.
I loved it. But yeah, because anyway, it's just great. Then you find out exactly why they're monitoring them and all of that. In the end, is just like, I didn't expect the ending either,
No.
And then you find out why they're doing this, and it's just all it's just read the apocalypse. You find out that's what the end is.
Yeah, apparently it's never merman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you've seen it, you know what that means.
I do. Such a good movie, man. I thought so. Yeah, that's my number 4, buddy.
Good job, man. Great one.
Number 3.
Well, okay, we're going into the top 3. What's going on with your third?
All right, I would almost feel bad if I didn't have at least one out of this trilogy in here. My number 3 is 1992, written, directed by Sam Raimi, Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
So Bruce Campbell is Ash in the third movie. And at this one, he's already defeated, or thinks he has defeated, whatever this creature is that's coming after him from the Necronomicon book, which he found in a cabin. And at the end, he kind of, at the end of part 2, he gets sucked into this kind of black hole, and you don't know what's happening. He just gets sucked into it. The Necronomicon gets sucked into it. And the way that part 2 goes off, Evil Dead 2, is he lands in the somewhere in the 1300s, I guess it was, like medieval times, and the movie just goes off. So this one just starts right from that spot, and he's been captured. He's being taken back by a bunch of these knights and stuff, and as a captor, and he's still got his shotgun and everything. So he kind of is, becomes like a god to them. He's got, his boomstick, as he calls it. And, they have this creature down in the well, and they're like, well, toss him in there. So he goes down. This is a deadite that he's fighting down in the well. They don't know that he's fought these things and he's killed them. So, he kills them. And now he's, he's laid back. They're feeding him grapes, and all these wenches are standing around him and, bringing him food and drink. And, they say they're going to help him fix the car, but they want him to do something for them first, because even his old Plymouth got thrown in there. So he's like, all right, fix my car, send me back to the, my time. And they was like, okay, we can do that. And he's like, great, let's do it. They said, well, we just need the book. And he's like, what book? The Necronomicon. So he goes on this big adventure to find it. The wizard or warlock or whatever it is, I guess he's a wizard, kind of like a Merlin type, tells him he has to repeat 3 words when he gets the book. If he doesn't remember those, if he doesn't say those words, then
it's not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
Klaatu, Verada. Okay then. That's it.
Hey, wait a minute.
It was a great movie. I loved it. That's one I watched with my kids as they got a little bit older. I could throw that on there, and it wasn't too bad. Maybe a couple of words here or there, but not real gory. But it was, that one's almost more comedy than horror. It's really crossing the line in a lot of it. But there's so many good parts of that. Yeah, a little bit. But you if you watch the Evil Dead 2, you're expecting it by that time.
Yeah.
And even what was it? Ash versus the Evil Dead. Was it? Yeah. The series that came on, that was good. And there's no way they should remake those without Ash in it, except the Evil Dead that they did remake was a horrifying horror movie. That was a scary movie, man. Especially if for people that hadn't seen the Evil Dead, the original one, and they just watched that one. It was scary. And being a Bruce Campbell fan and Evil Dead fan, Army of Darkness fan, I enjoyed the remake. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, no, I definitely did as well. It was terrifying. But back to the movie you actually brought up, because that movie was terrifying. Nowhere near was it a horror comedy. They removed funny. All traces of any comedy from that. Not even a set to any relief. Not even 5 seconds to chuckle. But anyway, back to Army of Darkness. I do remember when this movie came out, actually. This was the big full press, man, to kind of like get these guys into the mainstream, because they had kind of going from a cult classic as the first one, which was on a, we're talking about a shoestring budget. These were college kids, I believe, Sam Raimi and Ash,
Bruce Campbell,
thank you. Yeah, college kids. But no, the third one definitely leaned more into the comedy aspect of everything. Because even though it was comedy in the first two, there was a sense of hopelessness almost in those two movies as well. When it was horror, it was horror.
Dread, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So no, but I thought Army of Darkness was great, man. That's a great film for you to choose. And
I still use some of his like one-line things, man, like all the time. I know there's a couple of them that I wrote down just so I didn't forget them, but like groovy. I say groovy a lot, man. I don't think I say yo she bitch. I wrote that one, but that's not one that but I do say to my wife all the time, give me some sugar, baby. And
there you go.
but then I added on, make it sweet. That's from the Devil's Rejects, but so I don't use that as much. Anyway, Army of Darkness, great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And if you're gonna watch that one, go back and watch Evil Dead, and then Evil Dead 2 and Army. Just watch the whole trilogy.
Agreed. because then you really kind of know exactly
Yeah,
what
you know what's
spot
happening.
fell. Yeah, true story. And like you said, man, fantastic choice. Had to be on that list. Bravo, sir.
Thank you.
For me, man, my number 3 is a movie called Behind the Mask: Rise of Leslie Vernon. I actually watched this movie when I first saw this movie. I had no idea it was supposed to be a comedy,
I didn't
you
either.
know, until I watched it, and then I was picking up on all of the great I mean, it's a horror movie, you know, but it's just so great. And this is in the heyday of all of this. What it is this serial killer, slasher that's terrorizing this town. Town called Glen Echo. He's given this documentary crew exclusive access to him. You know what I mean? As he's going about and beginning his reign of terror. And it's just so funny. I mean, you know what I mean? That at one point he goes to meet this other retired serial killer, slasher killer, you know what I mean? And then he's just kind of he's a slasher, but he's got this kind of jovialness to him a little bit. I mean, you know what I mean? You know, when he's talking to people and he's meeting with people, and like I said, this is the beginning of the documentary craze with really it's been around for a while, but like when The Office was coming out, you know what I mean, and those type of shows. So it was around that same time, and so it was just really at that point it was somewhat new to kind of see also, and you really hadn't seen anything quite like this before. And then it's also, got some great horror icons in it. Robert Englund makes an appearance. Of course, we mentioned him earlier in the show, Freddy Krueger, Zelda Rubinstein, of course. We all know she is the lady from Poltergeist. Come follow the light, Carol Ann, and all that. So it's just a great movie, man. If you haven't seen it, please do. But I remember watching it for the first time and just being pleasantly surprised. Most of these other movies that I'm talking about, I knew going into it there was going to be comedy, a kind of a horror comedy. I really hadn't even really heard of this movie before. I just knew it was a horror, so I picked it up, put a DVD in, yes, DVD.
It was the same way for me. I thought it was going to be a straight horror movie, and I was kind of surprised at first, but I wasn't disappointed once it got going. And I was like, oh, but you brought up a good point. If you like the way that The Office is filmed, and you like horror movies, then you should check this movie out, because it's kind of that way, the kind of like the looks or whatever. But yeah.
I was just pleasantly surprised. That's why I rated it so high on my list, man, because this one again pleasantly surprised because I had no idea what to expect. And then I
just kept thinking, I was like, these people are so dumb.
I know.
And I was like, really? This is the killer? And I was like, you people are just, come on, man.
I know, what do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah. It's a good one. It's been a while since I watched that one. I'll have to watch it again.
Yep.
Like you say, it came out on DVD, so it's been a while.
Yep, indeed, man. Indeed. So yeah.
Number 2.
Well, all right, dude. Moving into the top 2. What do we have here, man? I can't wait to hear what you got.
My top 2 came out in 1974, and probably everybody has seen this except my co-host. It was written by Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks, and is directed by Mel Brooks, Young Frankenstein. And I can tell you that this movie is, I'm a horror fan anyway. I love Gene Wilder. He's my favorite actor of all time. And I loved all of his movies. So when I saw that there was a horror movie, and I'm saying this loosely, that there was a horror movie with Gene Wilder, and it was a Mel Brooks film, I had to see it. And right from the beginning, it didn't disappoint, because it's going along the line of Frankenstein, but it's got the Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder comedy that goes with it. So a quick summary, and I won't say too much about it for people that haven't seen it, because they'll really enjoy this movie. What it comes down to is Gene Wilder plays a character. He is a neurosurgeon, Dr. Frankenstein in America. He's in the United States, not just the Americas. So He's usually given lectures. He does classes too that he's given lectures. He's a professor too. And he doesn't like anyone to call him Frankenstein. He likes Frankenstein because he doesn't want people to associate him with his crazy grandfather, who was the Dr. Frankenstein, Victor von Frankenstein. So when his grandfather passes away, he leaves him his castle. And, of course, Gene Wilder's Dr. Frankenstein goes to check it out. And as soon as he gets there, he meets Igor. He's playing off of him. You don't want to be called Dr. Frankenstein, then I'm not Igor, I'm Igor.
Yeah.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
You're putting me on.
No, it's pronounced Frankenstein.
Do you also say Froderick?
No, Frederick.
Well, why isn't it Froderick Frankenstein?
It isn't. It's Frederick Frankenstein.
I see.
You must be Igor.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
But they told me it was Igor.
Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?
Marty Feldman plays Igor. And if you see this movie, you will recognize him in any other movie because he has really large eyes. And he does such a great job at playing Igor. Madeline Kahn is in it. She plays Gene Wilder's girlfriend. And she's just great. You see her in a lot of the Mel Brooks films and a lot of films through the 70s and 80s. Terry Garr was in it. She plays Inga. She's the laboratory assistant. It's not laboratory, laboratory. Everything's pronounced a little bit different. Right. Peter Boyle, who was on Everybody Hates Raymond, or Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm thinking Everybody Hates Chris. Yeah, great show. So Peter Boyle plays the monster, and Cloris Leachman played Frau Blucher.
I am Frau Blucher.
Steady!
How do you do? I am Dr. Frankenstein. This is my assistant, Inga. May I present Frau Blucher? I wonder what's got into them.
Your rooms have been prepared, Herr Doctor, if you will follow me.
Igor, would you bring the bags as soon as you're finished, please?
Yes, master.
After you, Frau Blucher.
But no, it's great, man. He doesn't believe in that. He doesn't think that his grandfather even actually did that. He thinks he was a crazy man. And, he's been fighting his whole life. He doesn't want to be a Frankenstein. He doesn't want that name associated. He wants to be his own. He's a neurosurgeon, very well accomplished neurosurgeon. And when he gets there, he goes to check the castle out, and he actually finds his grandfather's notes and all the old books. And he thinks that, yeah, it's possible. So then he tries to do it himself. And then, it's just a great comedy horror movie.
I know that I cannot comment too much on it. I know it's a terrible, tragic thing that I have not seen this film. Yes. But I'm laughing every time you and I talk about it. And I know it's a comedy classic. And then you and I, every time we talk about it, I'm laughing at the scenes that you described to me. So it's on my it's going to be on my agenda sooner rather than later.
But it is a movie that even
choice.
If you haven't seen it, everybody kind of knows about the movie. And yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's Mel Brooks coming up through the 70s and 80s, and that was really edgy at that time, the things that they did back then. And with it was just Mel Brooks today. I don't know if he could make movies if it was modern times. I don't know if it would work.
No, I don't think it. I'll just say, especially one in particular,
Blazing Saddles would never go over.
Yeah.
But it was funny back then, and it was funny to everybody. And I don't think anybody was upset about it because they didn't do it in a way to demean any one way or the other. It was
right.
Well, but they did demean one way or the other, but it was made that it got thrown back just as much as one through the other. Anyway, It is what it is. But Mel Brooks is, his movies were always kind of edgy, and this one's a little bit edgy, and some of the scenes that, because it's not like it's rated R, but some of the scenes are close to being risque.
Right.
Yeah, because that's one that I watched when I was a younger teenager, but I wanted to watch it before that. And my mother wouldn't let me, which was weird because she would usually let me. I mean, hell, she let me watch The Exorcist when I was like 9, and I had to wait till it's like, man, this has got to be a great movie if I can. And it's in black and white, even though it's not that old of a movie. They made it in black and white to match up with the classic
old Universal horror.
Yeah, which gives it. It's even better that way.
Well, dude, awesome choice. Again, I know that sounds crazy because I haven't seen it, but I do know it's a classic, and it's on every type of comedy classic list that you can ever look at. So fantastic pull on your part, man. I'm just gonna stick with the Mel Brooks vein, man. Dracula, Dead and Loving. No, I'm just joking. I couldn't even say that. I couldn't even say that with a straight face.
I was gonna say, why would you?
I couldn't even finish that with a straight face. No,
was that Leslie Nielsen?
It is, but it's a Mel Brooks film. It is a Mel Brooks movie, but yeah, it is Leslie Nielsen.
I was getting ready to stop the show and just like, hey.
Well, what's going on? Are you okay? No. My number 2 is a movie that you actually just mentioned. For your number 5, Shaun of the Dead.
Oh my God, she's so drunk.
Aren't you bad, love? Oh, she likes you. She wants to cuddle. Listen, I'm serious. I'm just come out of a relationship.
Do something!
Wait there. Ed! 2 seconds.
Look, I'm really flat and everything, really, but I just...
And hold it there.
Ed, just get her off me! Jeez!
What's up with her eye? Now, seriously, Harry, I'm warning you, okay? I'm gonna have to get physical. I mean it. This is it. I'm gonna... Fuck off! I think we should go back inside. Okay?
I mean, you said all the right things about it. I can't add too much more except that it was just fantastic. I loved it.
It was a great movie.
I loved it. I mean, the humor is great. Like we said, the stakes are real, but then, because people are dying, when he loses his mom, that's pretty tragic, I mean, that's horrible, But then the comedy though that they keep finding themselves in, and that they keep the plans that they keep trying to make it, like it's just so good. So that all those reasons are why it's all the reasons you said is why it's my number 2.
Yeah,
I just loved that movie. And going back to this list made me realize, because my son loves horror movies, or not horror movies, well, horror movies, but right now he's really into the zombie films.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually going through Walking Dead right now. He's on season 4 of that.
Awesome.
And I'm like, but he and I got to sit down and watch Shaun of the Dead. We got to sit down and watch Shaun of the Dead. I'm hoping he finds it as funny as I did, because I thought it was hilarious.
Well, it's I talked to someone that didn't like it, and they didn't like the way it was written, but it's a British comedy. Well, it's a British horror movie, but it's British. Yeah. And that's British comedy is different from our comedy. It is its own thing, but I love British comedy. I think it's great. I think with this movie, like I said, it had just enough of the blood and the gore for me to enjoy it as a horror movie, but it was also funny.
Right. No,
it was. It's a great movie.
Yeah, man.
And its collectible is probably worth more than any of them that I have on the wall. So I do like that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, very I have the pair of them where they're like on the way. It's called the Winchester 2-pack, and apparently it's pretty rare. So, which I didn't know at the time. I was just getting it to collect it, but
right.
Yeah. So.
Well, nice work, man.
That's why I put it on my list. No, I'm kidding. No, it's a great movie, man. Great.
Number 1, baby.
Well, my friend, we find ourselves here at the numero uno spot. Number 1 spot, guys. This is our choice for the funniest and scariest movie out there. Jason, what do you got?
You shiver with anticipation.
I'm actually excited about this one. You might laugh at me because I chose this one, but of course we both grew up in Culpeper, and there wasn't a lot to do in Culpeper. So one of the things that I did a few different weekends is we would drive to Centerville on a Friday or a Saturday. Now, I think it was, well, you could go either night, but I think we usually went on Saturday night. And they would have double feature shows or whatever. But this one show, you could go and watch it, and people were dressed like the characters. Oh. They actually acted it out on stage the whole time. It was crazy. It was a party. It was wild. Talking about 1975, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
How about that?
And I loved that film. There's so much in that film to like. I love the music that goes along with it, all the little skits that they put on, the musical skits. Tim Curry, love him to death. Love everything he's been in. For those who don't know, Tim Curry was also the original Pennywise in It, the television show that came on in the 90s, or the series that came on, the little mini series.
Yep.
And in this movie, he plays Dr. Frankenfurter. Here we go with different. Oh, wow. Both of mine were Franken something. So he's Dr. Frankenfurter. He's a cross dresser. Well, we'll just call it transvestite is what it was. But so Susan Sarandon played Janet Weiss. Her fiance was Barry Bostwick, played Brad Majors. Richard O'Brien, who wrote it, he played Riff Raff, the handyman. Patricia Quinn is in it. She plays Magenta. You'll know her from more modern horror movies. She's been in so many great movies. She made an appearance in let's see, she was in a Rob Zombie movie. So you know, and if you make it into a Rob Zombie movie, I'm automatically I'm a fan from that point. Nell Campbell played Columbia, and Mr. Meatloaf himself played Eddie. I love Meatloaf. Well, I'll eat it too, but the person Meatloaf plays Eddie, and he was like the delivery guy that showed up and probably shouldn't have came back around. But anyway, from the beginning, man, the car breaks down, and then they're just trying to find refuge in a phone, and they go to Dr. Frankenfurter's castle, and they're having it was a special weekend. There's a party going on. And right from the beginning, when Riff Raff opens the door, and it's just like he's just like looking at them, they're standing out there, it's raining, and he just looks at her, he says, "You're wet." And to me, that was funny for whatever reason. But and I love it, man. And they go straight in, and now you're into a musical act. There's a great song, and it's a really popular song, The Time Warp.
It's astounding. Time is fleeting.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Madness takes its toll.
That's a movie like when my youngest son Ethan, as soon as he could, he was probably 18 months, maybe 2 years old, and I have video of him. I would watch up until the elevator closed and went back upstairs. Once it gets past that, it's a kind of a little bit like, I don't know if I should be showing the kid this young this. But The Time Warp was great. So he would do the little, it's just to jump to the left, and he would do the little dance with them.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's awesome, man. I love the movie. I can't say enough about it. I really did enjoy it. And like I say, Tim Curry, he's great. I love Tim Curry.
No, well, that's an awesome choice. That's actually, man, I never got the opportunity to go see it. I always said I was going to. I remember the show. It might have been two. One was at the Fair Oaks Mall theater that was across the street from the theater, I think, is when they used to show it there. Or they also showed it at I'm pointing like people know what I'm talking. Like I'm pointing right over yonder there. It was right over there, guys.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to go. I never got a chance to go, but I've seen
it was fun, man.
Plenty of times. Yeah, I've heard so many great things about it. I've seen videos of people being at the thing. You know what I mean? They would show it all the time. No, great film. And I think I think the movie's good, but I think the fact that you need to see it with people to really enjoy it. You know what I mean? To really
I know they show it like around Halloween, and or even throughout the year they'll show the movie. But if you want to this is a movie you have to experience. And if you want to experience it, you have to go to a theater. And in Charlottesville, the Alamo is a theater here that you can go to. And when you go, it's going to be a party. I mean, there's going to be people dressed up as all the characters. You go, they're handing out all kinds of stuff from the movie that, you know, like noisemakers that you have to do at a certain time. And it's it really is fun, man. And they usually around Halloween, they'll do that at the Alamo here in Charlottesville. And there's so many other theaters that will do that too, man. And the Paramount in Charlottesville did it one time. You go there and it's nothing. You walk in and you see, like I say, they're just dressed up as all the characters, and it's just like, wow. And you'll be surprised how many. I mean, it's a cult following to that movie that it's almost like Trekkies. If you were to go see a big Star Trek convention and everybody's dressed up in, you know, as a character from that, or even Star Wars or something like that. And it's awesome, man. It is awesome. But like you were saying, you really should go experience that at a theater.
Agreed, 100%, man. Well, awesome choice. Awesome choice for number one, man. Yeah, that's a great. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that one at all. It's very good. So, man, for my number one, it's a movie that I love. I love this movie so much. It makes me laugh, and it's got the horror aspects to it. Talking about Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I think this movie is so awesome. Came out in 2011, directed by Eli Craig. For those of you who don't know, this is Sally Field's son, who directed and wrote this movie. It stars Tyler Labine, Alan Tudyk, and Katrina Bowden. Alan Tudyk, for people that love any type of genre, know this guy. I mean, he was in Serenity and in Firefly. Firefly was the show, Serenity was the movie. He's just been in a lot of genre television. He played Wash in that. But man, this movie is just fantastic. Have you seen this movie, Jason?
I've only seen a bits and pieces of it, and
what?
Now I feel bad, and I'm gonna have to go watch it.
Oh my god! Wait, I have 2 movies on this list you haven't seen. Wow! Oh my gosh!
That still doesn't compare to Young Frankenstein.
I know it doesn't. You're right. I should have even brought it up. My apologies.
I know the movie you're talking about, and but I like to say I've only seen like bits and pieces, and I liked it, but I just, for whatever reason, I didn't end up watching it. But I will have to now.
Dude, it's just
I'll let you tell what it's about.
Oh, yep, sure. The premise of the film, man, is about these group of college kids. They're going out, of course, to the countryside to go have some fun and party. And while they're there, they run into what they think are these two, from their point of view, these two redneck hillbillies. You know what I mean?
What did you think of them? Did you remember last week? Yeah. So are you saying it was?
I mean, I was also
two white guys. You're saying that live in the
woods. Just 2 white guys in the woods. That's all. Like I would never be scared of just 2 random white guys in the woods in the country. Oh, okay. But anyway,
you might edit that.
But no. It's all these college kids are out there in the woods partying down. They run into these 2 guys, as I said. And these guys, from their point of view, these guys are just scary, just like typically like a Wrong Turn type of film without the mutations and stuff. But just like one of those movies, their point of view, these guys are like those creepy country dudes but you know what, these guys aren't, man. As the audience, we get to see them. They're just fun, great, good guys, actually. That's what they are. And they have gone out to their vacation cabin, which is a rundown cabin, but they're acknowledging that too. And they're trying to get it all fixed up. This is going to be their vacation spot. And of course, every time, then one of the girls there, who was it? Katrina Bowden. She's been in 30 Rock. She was the hot blonde, the quote unquote hot blonde in 30 Rock. She falls and hurts herself, gets knocked unconscious. These 2 guys happen to be there and see it. They're trying to, and then from there, it's almost like a long episode of Three's Company with death, because there's so many misunderstandings. That's all this company was just misunderstanding after misunderstanding. And that's what happens in this film. These guys are trying to help this blonde girl, and they're like, hey, we got your friend, and the guys and the rest of the kids see this because the girl's unconscious. They're like, and they're just trying to help, say, hey, we've got your friend. She needs help. And they're like, oh my God, they've got Sarah or whatever name.
So they think they're actually doing like the wrong turn. They're the bad guys.
Yeah. So the guys in the country are really just good guys, but everything is like the college kids. Every time they think that these guys are doing something nefarious, you know what I'm saying, or something bad, and every time one of the other guys gets separated, one of the other kids gets separated from the group, they usually do encounter Tucker and Dale, but then they usually die by some tragic mishap. The college kids do, you know what I mean? But it seems to them that Tucker and Dale are killing these people, but they're really not. You just have to see the movie to see exactly how these guys are dying and how it's like looking like these guys are killing them, but they're not. They're like, why do these kids keep killing themselves around? It's just so funny, man. I remember when it came out and I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it. Like, I will seek out a comedy horror. I mean, just like I love a great comedy horror to me, and I will seek them out. And I heard about this before it even came out. I was dying to see it when it did. Finally, it did, and I got a chance to check it out, and I've loved it ever since, man. I talk about this movie anytime horror comedies come up. I say, guys, you have to check this one out. It does not fail to impress.
Well, you sold me on it. I'm going to check it out.
I mean, it's just so good. Like I said, from the looks of it, the college kids think these guys are some inbred hillbillies, and they're not. They're just good guys, man, that are just trying to fix up their vacation cabin, and it's just so good. And there's a little twist there at the end too. So
cool.
Yeah, man. So that's my number one movie, guys, and that is our top 5 horror comedies. Jason, you had some fantastic choices on your list. I mean, like I said, you surprised me with a lot of them, and I will make it a point to see Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, well, you had a couple that I hadn't seen, and it's every once in a while you throw that on me. That you kind of surprised me with a couple, but I thought I'm losing my title as the horror king here. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch them. No, I was surprised there are a lot of horror comedy movies, not just movies with a little bit of funny here or there, but there were several of the movies that didn't make my list that really I was trying to stick more to the horror theme.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to get into it, like you could almost say Beetlejuice would be in there, or Ghostbusters, or
exactly.
Stuff like that. But there was a bunch of them that I didn't even throw on there, but I would recommend to people. Idle Hands. Do you remember that movie, Idle Hands?
I do remember Idle Hands. Jessica, my first Jessica Alba sighting.
Actually. Yeah. And Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, Creep Show, The Return of the Living Dead, The Burbs. I would even put The Burbs on there. Planet Terror, Frighteners. That had good funny parts in it too.
Peter Jackson. Yeah, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson.
Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp. I don't know if I would have put that. I wouldn't. It didn't make the list. So,
yeah.
But Bride of Chucky.
You're so many good ones out there that could have made it. I don't know. Dark Shadows, I wouldn't have maybe my list, even though I'm a huge Johnny Depp. Big, he's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
But and
did you ever watch that TV show?
I never did. I watched because it was a 70s soap opera or 60s and 70s
soap opera, and then it was like a TV show in the 90s.
Came out in the 80s.
Yeah, like
late 80s.
Okay.
I do remember that. I did that. It came on NBC. It didn't last very long, but I remember it came out, and I did watch those episodes.
I thought that was all right, but
it was.
The old soap operas were, wow.
Yeah, they were soap operas back in the day. Indeed.
Yeah.
Nah, dude. Well, like I said, man, you had a fantastic list, my friend.
Thank you.
Guys, that is our show for this evening. Please, again, like we said at the beginning, we're always saying this, comment on the episodes, like, follow us, subscribe, hit that subscribe button. We want to hear your feedback, right? We're always striving to make this show as best as we possibly can. So please give us some feedback. Let us know what type of things you want to see. I do know in the next few weeks, we're going to have the review for the show Them, which is currently the #1 show on Amazon Prime, and it has been for a few weeks now. So we're going to review that, and then we'll of course be back with some more top 5 lists as well.
Yeah, I think we both already recommend watching that movie.
Indeed.
Or that series. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, guys, check it out if you haven't already. But apparently a lot of people are. It's been #1 on Amazon Prime, the #1 show
man.
for a couple weeks now. So yes, really great and really good. Definitely some great, some supernatural horror, but then just seeing the horror that humans can do to each other also.
And next week we're gonna review top 5 favorite moments from Sharknado. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
We're gonna rank, and then that's followed by the ranking of our favorite Sharknado films from favorite moments and then favorite films. No, but guys, that is our show for today. Again, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you guys again.
You look like you're both pretty groovy.
Jason,
definitely.
As always, it's been a pleasure. Alice, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, and not killing us. We're good.
Exactly, guys. All right, that's it. Have a good one, everybody.